Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Tokwe. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Grateful to God for life and good health. Yes, you cannot take it for granted. So many things going around on social media that are really, really scary going on in our country. But through it all, I think that I wrote on my post, are you counting down or you are loading? Like some people, they're like counting down to the end of this year. Or some are like waiting that 2021 would carry all the things they desire. For me, I'm counting down because I feel like 2020 still has loads of blessing for me. So I want to squeeze everything I can squeeze out of 2020. And then 2021 will come whether you like it or not. It's not like you cannot hurry it. So some people are just waiting like, let me just chill. 2021 then we'll start. No, don't chill. Just start whatever you're starting now and go ahead in 2021. So yeah, that's just
hiding. You want to squeeze 2020 like banga.
You
know when you want to see, you not squeeze it, like bring out all the
you understand.
Juice.
Yes. There's so much here.
Amazing. I'm so grateful to God. I'm still counting down myself. I'm looking forward to 2021, but I've learned something that it's not for us to look forward. It's for us to enjoy the moment. So the day that I have today, I am basking in it. I'm giving glory to God. Every second that I have to breathe, I'm grateful to God. But I have a shout out all the way from North America. Triplets. Yes. I want to call their names Judah, Jehonathan, and
Heavenly Joy.
Heavenly Joy. Happy birthday. They are turning 5 today. Oh, wow. And this love is sent from their mom, Sharon Izidu, Dr. Shao.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
She sent this message about 2 weeks ago, and I was wondering, wait now. Then she did the reminder this morning. Of course, I've noted it. Happy birthday, triplets. Before I would say triplets. I wanted to give you guys a comedy that happened in my
What happened, please?
So my children, you know my boy is very imaginative, so he wonders whether Santa Claus will drop by to give him gifts. And I keep saying to you, just what I told the sister, that there's nothing like that they're just a creation of somebody's imagination, but the boy will not get it. So we went out on Saturday for ice cream at Festac, and we saw Santa dropping from a bike. And immediately I was just excited that this will do it because I know Good Frank is very scientific. Say, see, Santa, he's even paying for bike. They even still giving money. So she now kept quiet, and the brother was saying like, no, where is the sleigh? And all those rain, and all of that. And they didn't even drop off. Somebody, no, the villain must have attacked Santa.
Oh, too much cartoon.
She said, you better stop that nonsense. You know here that Santa is paying for Okada. See, don't ever ask. I could not be. I packed my car at Abolarinwa. I laughed at most then. Because she knocked it out, as that experience knocked it out for her one time. But for her brother, it was
still imagining.
She wonder why the villains attacked and all of that. And then,
my daughter had the same issues, my baby this year, because we saw this Christmas Chronicles recently, and Father Christmas, the Santa was very amazing, was a singer, gave all the gifts and all the dwarfs and everything. So when they gave them gifts in the morning, I was at work Christmas Day. My husband asked them to open their gifts. She was frowning. She didn't see Santa. He said, we don't have a chimney. Where's the chimney? Where did Santa come and
that.
When I came back, I said, Auntie, your daddy is the Santa. Don't trust me.
Oh, you Nigerian mothers.
You know, busting the Santa bubble.
Santa, beg.
Right, how you doing?
I'm doing very well.
I love what you're wearing.
Thank you. Actually, I got it from Lola and Layo in the UK. I have to tag them. They sent it to me.
It's beautiful.
Is that Demure? Yes, Lola and Layo Demure. They sent it to me.
And creative.
Yeah, very lovely. Very unlike me. I don't wear this kind of stuff, but
no, it's cool.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm also wearing a gift. Head to toe.
Wow.
Alamin again.
Hey.
Alamin the collection for December.
Alamin always gives us nice things.
Go to my Instagram page, yes.
I will help you take a very good picture.
Yes.
So you will see something nice on Instagram.
I'll post this also for Lola and Layo.
Yes,
okay.
It's beautiful.
They're also twins, pretty twins. I knew them growing up. Yeah, they used to be friends with my sister. Okay, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. COVID-19, lack of oxygen, bed space hampers treatment. Community policing begins in Kaduna, Kebbi, and Sokoto with 975 core members. I didn't call for coup, says Kuka. 2015 audit report, ministry paid 968 million without approval. And NIMC adopts booking system for NIN enrollment. Okay.
So NIMC, yes. Yesterday there were reports about crowding at all NIMC offices, the one in Lagos, the one in Abuja, and I saw video pictures, terrible crowding. And so they responded by creating a booking system ahead where you now have to book for your registration ahead, and only when you're given a date to come, that's when you come. But I still think that the federal government and the requirement, the new deadline should still be further extended. Give people this mindset to at least not pressure themselves to those centers, because now people are getting desperate. I know before the deadline, the initial deadline, people are already paying 5,000 per registration, which is not official.
Right.
Wow.
So also, when you say you're asking people to book online, book before coming, how many literate people do we have in Nigeria? How many illiterates do we have in Nigeria? How will they be able to book when they don't have smartphones and all of that?
I have been through that office, and I've seen lots of young people actually in the office. So maybe those ones who can will have help. They might have to have other systems for those people who are illiterate. So we'll see. But we have to move on.
They also quickly advise that you don't give out so much information, so that people don't get into your area. So, but community policing quickly. They've kick-started in Kaduna, Kebbi, and Sokoto states. They actually had a passing out. It was called constabulary passing out yesterday. In Kaduna, they had 272 police constables who passed out from the training school. KB 336 and Sokoto 367 constables. So Governor El-Rufai is saying that community policing has come to stay, and the police constables who just passed out will be deployed to their local government, and the DPOs will assign them. So they are asking them to, work hand in hand with the.
I was going to take the major headline concerning COVID-19. Obviously, the DG of the NCDC have warned that we have an astronomical increase in the numbers of COVID-19 cases in the last few months, and January is going to be that month we'll see the result of the spread that happened in the last few months. So there have been lots of high. It says treatment centers are filling up, and we are struggling to keep up. And he reminded the country that we don't have enough oxygens, we don't have enough doctors. So, and there are quite a number of doctors that have already been infected, and they have to be in isolation centers. So we have to really be very.
The policy makers, sorry to take us back on this, NIMC would also share largely in the blame, because of course they didn't make this policy around the situation on ground on the new strain that we have. But then they said that every violators of the COVID testing, those who do the fake papers and all of that, those who violate the rules, their passports they'll start seizing their passport from January 1, and they won't get their passports back until June. That's 6 months punishment.
Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. Governor Makinde raises alarm. Bandits from Mali coming to Nigeria through Shaki border. COVID-19. January will be tough, says federal government. Masop urges peace as groups allege imposition bid. Troops kill 15 bandits in Kaduna Abuja road. State of the nation, stop blaming God for Nigeria's woes, Obasanjo tells leaders. I didn't call for coup. I spoke based on evidence, says Reverend Kuka. Okay,
so
which story are we
15
taking?
troops.
Yes.
The troops killed 15 bandits. So 9 bandits were first reportedly killed by troops in Kaduna State. They said that some people were found to have rustled cattle within that area, and they informed the military. They said that an ambush was now set up for them in the eastern part of the route. And when the ambush was set up for them, when they came in with the cattle, they were attacked, and that they said all of them fell to the bullets from the army. It was a good one. Also mentioned that another area, they stopped some of these bandits from crossing the Kaduna-Abuja highway. So 9 were killed in one location, and the remaining 7 were killed in another location. So we're happy for them.
So the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has, while he visited the Okere of Shaki, Oba Khalid Olabisi, and met with a few traditional rulers, has said that bandits are coming in to the village, that's the Shaki, through Mali. And he was appealing that the Mali citizens, residents, should be very vigilant. He also talked, commended Amotekun, because they had that issue a few months ago, and it was the Amoteku that worked hand in hand to flush out the bandits from Kushi. So he's appealing that everybody needs to be vigilant at this time.
Right. Moving on to Daily Sun. Again, FG stops Forex for food importation. I didn't call for coup, says Kuka. COVID-19, 4 doctors die, 472 health workers infected in Abuja. How Labour Party boss Salam slumped and died, says Sun. FG reopens more borders this week as experts foresee spike in Forex rate. Insecurity, stop blaming God for Nigeria's woes, Obasanjo tells nation leaders. And alleged forgery, court accepts Governor Obaseki's nomination form in evidence. Okay, which story are we taking? Major headline, go ahead.
Yes, so our president has given a directive to Central Bank of Nigeria not to release Forex for importation of food into the country. He's saying that about 7 states are actually producing rice as we speak, and so we should eat what we produce. And he's also saying that thank God that we had to go back to agriculture. Imagine when we locked the land borders and then COVID-19 happened. If we didn't have agriculture to fall back to, we would have starved.
Right,
you know. So he's also saying something that I don't know how he's going to handle it, but he's saying he's going to make sure that the inflation of food is going to be curtailed, though he didn't give us the steps.
Okay, in his defense, Reverend Kuka, Reverend Kuka was saying that what he said was based on evidence and what happened in Nigeria, and he looked at the records before he spoke. He said it is totally unfair for a journalist or news medium to report that he called for a coup while expressing his own personal opinion on Nigeria. So, I mean, there have been various criticisms and praises from different quarters for what Reverend Kuka said concerning Nigeria. He was saying that there might be a sinister plan. He was condemning the nepotism he's seen, and there might be a sinister plan to establish a northern hegemony, and he's been criticized for saying that.
Can you take the Obasanjo story?
Obasanjo?
Yes. The former President Obasanjo addressing the media at the
Okay, it's in Punch. Let's take it in Punch. We'll take it in Punch. Let me take your story.
Picture story in the Sun. The Sun I wanted to allude to. So the day after,
Papa,
Governor Sanwo-Olu said Lagos State will take over the presidential taxes on Apapa traffic. The picture shows what the situation was in Apapa and extended as at this morning is worse. Even worse on the Badagry Expressway side of town. So thanks to the Navy for helping me out this morning. I would not have gotten here.
Okay.
And the Labour story, the national chairperson of the Labour Party died yesterday, and the Sun gave account on how he died.
The Punch, FG adopting wrong strategies to address bad economy, says Obasanjo and Utomi. I never called for coup against Buhari. That's Reverend Kuka. Government army uniform abduct your farmer. Comply with directive on crossover service cancels churches. Okay, which story are we taking there? Go ahead.
Story. So the president was speaking at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, addressing the press as he does for the new year, and he mentioned the fact that Nigeria, the government is addressing the economic crisis the wrong way. Most importantly, he said Nigeria has no right to be. No Nigerian should go to bed hungry, that we have all it takes to be a successful country. He said that though 2020 has been a very, very challenging year in terms of the insecurity, and then he mentioned COVID-19, bad economy, all of that happened, but that the government could have handled it better. He said that goes out to those that have lost their loved ones. But what I wanted to highlight was he said, work and pray. That many people want to say you should pray and work, but it feels like we shouldn't just blame God and focus that is a God thing. We should do the work necessary. Yes. And I believe that that's something we should embrace.
And Khan has said that all churches must comply with their crossover directives from the federal government. Many churches are not having the full overnight service. Many of them are stopping at 10:30. Others have cancelled it totally. Some states have said no crossover service. But he's saying whatever your state has directed, let all churches comply. You're going to talk about
there was a story in the Guardian I thought we would get to, the one on the Senate rejecting payment for the Defense Ministry's contract.
Okay, it says
so this contract that was, even though there was a memo against it by the head of their public accounts, the military paid 968 million for supply of medals and ribbons for the armed forces at Independence Anniversary without approval.
What?
So our Nigerian Senate, thanks to them, have rejected this money. They've insisted to obey the Auditor General's memo to the Ministry of Defense to return that amount and and explain how that payment was
that's it. Senate rejects. Right. Yes. So I guess the Senate is in some quarters, in some areas.
They should return our money.
All right, let's go on a break. It's Wednesday. Today, we're going to be focusing a lot on the power sector. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Calling you. Vector Furniture. Season's greetings. Think home. Think Vento Furniture.
I'll take a biggie as well.
Which of them, sir?
Which one is the best?
Okay.
Let's talk biggie. Let's talk 11 flavors so interesting, so unique, you will think they were made just for you.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we jump into the issue of power, it's important for us to give an update to those of our viewers who are not on social media. So yesterday we took the story on the hashtag Justice for Don Davies. So yesterday also we got a video from Mrs. Thelma Malaka, who is the Education Secretary of Deeper Life School, saying that there's been an investigative panel raised by the governor of the state that includes the police, and they're working on that. They're going to ensure that that young boy gets justice. So we're going to be following up with that story to ensure and see what happens, and hope that nothing is covered up and the truth is brought out at some point so that we all know what happened, so that that young boy can get justice. Now, moving on to our focus for today. This segment will be engaging stakeholders from the power sector to share their convictions on how the sector has performed in almost the entire year. Now, we're going to start with our focus on distribution, which affects every one of us. So joining us right now on the show is Olatunbosun Abolarinwa. He's a consumer from Lagos and Abuja. He's also a social commentator. And others will be confirming our other guests very soon, but let's have a conversation first with our guests. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thanks to have you. Me. So we have guests, we hope to have guests from Ikeja Disco, Enugu Disco, Abuja Disco, and I think Eko Disco. So once they will join us, we'll let you know. But let me come to you as a consumer and as a commentator. Let's review the year together. In your view, do you think, based on the promises made this year, that they were going to review the tariffs? I mean, many of us have experienced that increase in tariffs, and then there was a hole at some point. How has it worked for you as a consumer, and do you think it has made electricity better for you?
No, it has not made the electricity better for me as a consumer. And the very first thing I want us to highlight is that, are the distribution company actually working? Are they distributing? I just saw an hashtag this morning where I think the former Minister for Power and Governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, said they have electricity now. Distribution is the problem. And that is a very powerful one, if you ask me, because everything touches down on the consumer. If I look at Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, for instance, there is a lot of fraud and irregularities going on there that I'm beginning to wonder if we actually have government or a regulatory authority who is looking at them. The part 4 of the subsection 3 of the AEDC supply agreement, which every customer signs, actually says that any service line or other facilities provided by or donated by customers shall be treated in line with the investment in network regulation by the Commission. What that actually means is that they are confirming that in order for people to get power, you must buy transformer, you must buy cable, you must buy fuses that will bring the power from feeder pillar into your house. And as a result of that happening over the years, some powerful people across the country that have money have cashed in. So residents who have millions will go and buy transformer, will buy feeder pillar, will buy the armored cable, and will start enforcement to collect money back from the resident without anybody looking into that. So how are the people getting power? That is, I think we really need to look at that. Not minding the high tariff. If the discos, I think at the beginning of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, I think I heard it somewhere that the old agreement the federal government had with discos was brought to his attention for review. And I think his response that he does not know what to do with it. Because that agreement has already tied the hands of the consumer. And if you want electricity, you have 3 choices. Get solar, buy generator, service it, and fuel it, and endure the pain of exhuming the fume of electricity, coming from the generator, or find your way of bribing the discos, which I have a lot of evidence of. I'm a counter-fraud specialist. So when I see fraud, I know fraud. And I think if the discos, especially Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, are allowed to get away with the irregularities they have committed against Nigerians,
okay, let me take a few more questions for you.
Would I call it questions? You've mirrored a lot of challenges many Nigerians are facing. The truth is, some of us live in areas where power has significantly improved, so also has the bill. So the price has changed, and at a point, people know I stay in Shangisha, which is around Magudo. And while I was there, what I realized is that the power improved when they were going to increase the bills. And all of us did not complain that at least we're seeing what we're paying for. And suddenly around November, the power started nosediving. So we're still paying premium, like we're paying a high tariff for consumption, but we're not having that power anymore. And then we cannot, there's the chain of command for complaints isn't responsive. So many people have suffered this experience, and and I have to speak for them that they come in the disguise that you have power for 20 hours. You're being charged, they call them, there's a belt, they call them, a group of people that have power for at least 20 hours, they pay premium. And so when you don't have power for that 20 hours, how do we ensure that if I have traced for the past 1 week, I have been having less than 12 hours or around 12 hours of power, why should I still be paying premium like someone who has power for 20 hours per day? That is a question that I would ask you, how are we supposed to litigate? What's the process a citizen is supposed to use to get justice in that kind of situation? Yeah,
I sought advice when, what happened was that I live in an estate in Abuja, and for some reason, the amount they were charging for electricity meter was too expensive for me in the last 1 year, so I did not get meter, and I did not connect to the national grid for 1 year.
Okay.
And recently, the federal government declared 1 meter free, and I applied for 4 because I have 4 apartments uncompleted there. And to my surprise, AEDC still sent me account number that I should pay for the meter. I paid. Then later I went to check, and I was told I was not supposed to pay. Coming back to what are we supposed to do? I wrote them a letter telling them that, okay, you gave me 4 meters and you charged me for the price of 1. Please send the refund back to me because it's supposed to be free. Up till today, I'm yet to get my refund. Some residents came and removed me from feeder pillar, saying that I have to pay 150,000 naira because they bought the transformer, which is fair enough. But I told them that according to the dictate of the law, it is not your duty.
Your neighbors would not like you, sir.
No, they don't like me. I'm not very...
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation because the discos have also complaints of their own constraints. We'll take that after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. As I said earlier, we're still trying to get some of our representatives from these discos to join us very soon. So, Nima had a question. Yes, go ahead.
So you mentioned the transformer belonging to the community, and then they require everybody trying to get on that transformer to pay. It's the norm everywhere.
No, it's not.
It is.
I will disagree with you.
Let me back it up. So, back when NEPA was an issue, when every community had to buy, somebody had to fund it. It wasn't not necessarily a fraud.
Then.
Per house in my own area is 50,000. Tenants and landlords, everybody pays, except you don't want to get on that transformer. The truth is, somebody funded it, and we have to pay back that person. Now, the fraud for me is what the discos do, because when you now buy, you take it to the disco, you cannot claim to own. You have to sign a contract to hand over the transformer
to the discos.
Sorry. So the community handing over a property that they bought is where I find the fraud. But once they bought it, somebody has to pay. And if you're going to use it, you have to also pay for it.
Can I just comment on that? I think whatever we want to do, we must ensure that we do it within the ambit of the law. That is one. Secondly, we cannot continue to point accusing fingers at the federal government if they have put laws and regulation in place to make life easier for the people, irregardless of what anybody have done. Yeah, you said it rightly that the moment you buy any transformer, it's in their rule. Unless you have not powered it from the national grid, that is when it is yours. The moment you power it, it now belongs to the government. Now, talking about funding it. You see, there is a NEC Reform Act 2005, Article 15, which I'm going to quote for you. It says clearly, it is not the responsibility of the consumer or community to buy transformer, pole, cable, and feeder pillar and other stuff. That is the law. Secondly, for those of you who have spent money on transformer cables and everything, which people don't know and they need to know, you can go through a lawyer or you can write. It says, that's one of the discourse agreements and it's part of the rest. Any service line or other facilities provided by or donated by a customer shall be treated in line with the investment in network regulation by the Commission. That is what NEC are supposed to do. And I think that is where we are, which seems to be getting it wrong. The people don't know. The watchdog agency, commission, that is supposed to create an avenue, create a form, create an app to inform people and let them know that if you buy a fuse that goes into the transformer for them to power your house, you can get the receipt, write a letter.
The people do.
Not everybody knows that. A lot of Nigerians don't know that.
A lot of Nigerians do know. Some people, you need to visit the discos and see the waiting number of people. And I have sat at the one in Ikeja here for 6 hours trying to get something done legally.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when you look at the process of waiting to get metered, get on the grid or get power at all in your community, you will bend over and do whatever the communities do. So then you now start to charge each resident, each property owner in that community to find a way to power yourself, because the waiting list is endless.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You know?
What he's saying is, if you do it yourself, you can ask the for refund.
To get it is the issue. The bottleneck to even get that money back, that refund is what the
it is deliberate. And one thing I want to say, to Nigerians is that we still need to task the government. The law is the law.
Yes.
We must try to be. I stayed almost 1 year without connecting to the national grid.
Yourself and my brother-in-law.
in order to ensure that I do things the right way.
Wow.
And until we get out to that position where we are doing things the right way, we will continue to go in circle in this endless suffering.
So, sir, I have a problem with, initially when we started using the prepaid meters, it seemed like it would be easier and it would be cheaper for you to pay as you go, because we had the estimated billing was really extorting a lot of homes and businesses. But now, the new trend is, even with the prepaid meters, we are paying even higher than the estimated billings. And some NEPA officials or PHCN officials would even advise you to find a way to bypass, because you're going to be spending so much. So where is that honesty in the fact that when you pay as you go, it's supposed to be what you use that you pay for, as against people extorting you? Right now, it's extortion on both ways. How do we handle that?
Okay, the best way to handle that is, first, you need to expose them. Nigerians keep quiet a lot when we are supposed to speak out loud. And we give up quickly on time. Some of us work on solar energy in our system. So to give up,
when the sun goes down.
To give up. So we store extra energy for when the sun goes down. So it still comes back to the regulatory authorities, the watchdogs, all the consumer protection agencies really need to up their games. For instance, now there is a lot of byproduct being created by the discos that many people don't realize. So somebody in your area have gone to sign on your behalf that a special transformer somewhere is going to serve you better. Now, in their own terms, that is going to increase your tariff.
Yes.
My former address in Abuja, now a block of 8 flats with 2 big transformers next to them are not getting enough electricity. And the AEDC official went to them and said, you've been suffering for too long. buy your own transformer. So these people contributed more than $500,000 to buy the transformer to connect to the power next to their house. So they were happy. Everything was okay until they noticed that the same units they are buying. So a friend was chatting with me yesterday that, do I know that within 1 week now 10,000 naira went?
That's normal for us.
Well, you see, there's that conversation, sir, that said power is not cheap anywhere in the world. It's almost like in Nigeria that we're the only ones that we don't pay the commensurate amount of money for power. But there's nowhere in the world you go to where they don't even manage, the individuals manage the electricity. But here in Nigeria, we just use it anyhow most times. I'm just telling you the other side of the story. Yeah. Because one of the major issues the discos have complained is that they're not even getting enough power. Some of them are from the GenCos are not generating. We're constantly having issues with transmission. And then the discos come and they're having issues with even distributing the amount of power that they get. So there are a lot of issues. Are we, as you as a consumer, also understanding where they are coming from? I mean, how do we also understand say that many Nigerians before this time said, I will pay. Just give me the power.
Another issue they've raised.
Now you are paying and you are complaining
before
still high.
Before you
so
answer, another issue they've raised is that we are not metered enough. That largely many Nigerians are not metered and they are consuming. There are videos that show people that bypass the metering and tap directly from the transformer, and there's so much leakage that it will seem that even though we have some people that are metered that are paying cost-effective tariff, they're not earning enough to pay the GenCos. Because what happens is the GenCos generate, GenCos generate, and the transmitting company gives the discos. The discos dispatch this power, but they don't get, like the example they gave that 100 watts can enter a building, and they only pay for 10. So who's consuming the remaining 90? Who is paying for that? So we are also guilty of not making their business easy.
Yes, and my quick response to that is that I don't know from my position how you trust the words that is coming out of somebody that have evidently committed fraud. I just told you now that these people are going behind powering cable they did not buy, transformers they did not buy, feeder pillars they did not buy, and making money from each. You see, who is a fraudster? Here. So, do you understand? So if you are pointing, if the discourse are pointing one accusing fingers at the consumer, about 4 is coming back to them. I have evidence that they've committed fraud. I'm taking them up on that. You see, coming back to again, you don't shift your responsibilities. If somebody is bypassing electricity, I put it back to the discourse. How many people do you have in court now for bypassing electricity? And who is supposed to do that for you? When we go to your organization, we see policemen, we see civil defense officials. Yeah, what are they enforcing? Are they only protecting your babies?
People don't go to court for that, because when you bypass, you get sanctioned. I mean, I've been sanctioned, but
so how many people? You see, you don't touch. Touching cables and bypassing is almost as good as tapping the crude oil or petrol plants. It is a criminal offense that people are supposed to be prosecuted for. Okay, but if you are not reporting, if you are not reporting it, you have legal department that are not enforcing anything. The only thing you do is that you send people out, they disconnect people when they find that, and then as soon as they go back, as soon as you go back your ladder, your officials will collect bribe from them. I have evidences of that.
All right, let me pause you for a second. To get all the general managers of the corporate communications, Eco Disco, and the Ikeja Disco. We're trying to get Abuja, Enugu. A few of them have agreed to come on. We're having technical issues. Once we have them on, we'll bring them on. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So first of all, we have Mr. Emeka is the Corporate Affairs Manager, Enugu Electricity Distribution Company. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning, Morayo. Good morning, Lagos.
You. So there's been quite a lot of allegations made against the disco so far this morning, that many of you are fraudulent. Especially, you don't let us know about a law that says you can actually, that we're not supposed to be buying transformers, cable, and all the things we buy anyway to get electricity in our neighborhoods, that you're actually supposed to reimburse us for that, refund us. Now, could you give us an idea what the process is actually in getting a transformer for communities?
Okay, thank you very much. We usually get this kind of reaction from customers when they say we are fraudulent. And it's also interesting when you see some customers carry out some fraudulent acts that undermine the activities of the discos. The question is now, who is fraudulent? But that's not the issue. The process, like you asked, if a customer is on the grid, for starters, this community in question, are they existing customers, or is it that they are trying to connect to the grid? If you're trying to connect to the grid, we have a team we call the Network Expansion Team. These guys will move to the area, evaluate the space, and identify what is needed to draw the network to the community. And once that is established, this investment will be made, and the communities will be connected to the grid. The provision of line, the provision of transformer is the responsibility of the distribution company. But what happens is that at times in the community, some people also milk from the system. You see some people that will parade as contractors or indigenes of the community. Because of what they are going to get, they will begin to do some things that are not part of what they are supposed to do in a bid to get something out of the people of the community. This is not a part of what the customers are supposed to be doing, and we always emphasize this in our engagement with customers. It is our responsibility. Most times it is as bad as the communities going ahead to repair transformers. Transformer has failed. You have not even reported to the distribution company. You move the transformer and go and repair. That is totally not acceptable. These are things that happen within the network. And the fact that they happen does not make it right. They are not legal. They are not part of what the customers are supposed to be doing. It is solely the responsibility of EEDC to provide transformer to connect communities to the network.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Emeka, for admitting that it is your sole responsibility to power up communities by providing the transformers that they need. But it will be practical for you to put us through the duration that they have to wait, so that we can understand why people now resort to self-help. Because it is not exactly fraudulent that they help themselves to buy, probably because waiting is endless. Can you help us in practical terms state how long they have to wait once they apply?
Okay, I need to understand, is it how long they have to wait to be connected, or how long they have to wait for their transformer to be repaired? Or how?
Once a community applies for a transformer,
to get a transformer, the community does not need to apply for transformer. We have a network. The transformer is already part of the network. If the transformer in the community is faulty, if the transformer is disconnected, there are different things that can make a community to be out of supply. We need to establish the cause of the community being out of supply. If, for instance, the transformer they had packed up, okay, it is our responsibility. But remember that the community or the customer also has his own role to play by paying their bill. If a community is not paying their bill and the transformer packs up, remember we are in business, okay? We provide services to these communities and we expect them to pay at the end of the day.
Mr. Emeka, I need you to understand. I understand that you have your areas where you've already provided transformer, but there are new coming communities they call new sites. And those new sites also apply as a whole, as a community, for you to power them up. So sometimes they do have to apply to get a new transformer.
Mr. Emeka, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I didn't get the last part of the question.
I said, so there are new sites coming up, new estates, new communities coming up in some areas. and sometimes they do have to apply as a community to get on your power system, network. So what do they have to do? Those communities that, they are more than enough to just join in, singularly joining existing transformers, what do they do?
Okay, if they want to install their own transformer, there's what we call application. They need to apply.
Okay. So after that application, what time line?
Once they apply, if it's a personal transformer, there are some transformers that are personal transformers. Some estates will want to have their own transformer. If the estate is applying to have their own transformer, they apply for, there's what we call permits to construct. That approval will be given to them. They already have a qualified contractor that will carry out this project, after which it is certified by the various regulatory agencies and energized by EDC. That is one side to it. If it's a community, like a village, that does not have supply, and now they want to have supply, what they need to do is to visit the distribution district office at the area in question, and the network manager. These things will be put into the project. There are a lot of network expansion projects that are ongoing. There are communities that were not on the grid that currently are enjoying supply from the grid. These are things that if you apply, if you use the right process, these things, it might not happen immediately, but over time, this will be incorporated into the project. Remember, they are capital-intensive projects, and there's a process to embark on such projects. Once that is concluded, the community will be energized.
All right. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, I would like to introduce the General Manager, Corporate Communication, Abuja Electricity Distribution, Mr. Oyebode Fadipe. Sir, are you there?
I am here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay. So we'll transfer a few of those questions to you. BC, go ahead.
All right, sir. So I still need clarification, although Mr. Emeka has tried to explain concerning the transformers, where probably your transformer in an area is fault, and then you have to wait on the discos to replace it, and you have written, because I've actually been in a community where it happened, and we had to wait for over 6 months. Nobody was responding. We had gone to complain, we had written to them, we had gone to their offices, times without number, and nobody was paying attention, nobody was attending, till the community decided to gather money and buy their transformer. Now, according to what we have signed as consumers, it's not our responsibility to buy anything that would give us power. Now that we have bought it, is there any plan at all to refund the community their money? Do you people have that plan in place?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say compliments of the CEO once again, and then at the risk of recalling the past, let me also congratulate Morayo and all those who were in the studio when that unfortunate incident of attack on your office came up during the NSAT. I read the story of Morayo and it was quite touching. So congratulations for God saving your life and the lives of every other person in the studio. Now, having said that, let me say that I adopt the position of my colleague.
I'm having trouble hearing you, sir. Could you increase the volume a bit? Yes, better. You're far from the mic. Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me very well now?
Yes.
Yes, it's much better.
Okay. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that, one, I had all of my colleagues in Enugu, because we find out that from disco to disco, the problems are similar with the exception of some isolated cases. Now, coming to the question that was raised as to the refund of money, of investment in the network, of asset investment in the network, I think it's very, very important for customers to appreciate the fact that there is a regulation by the regulatory authority, NET, stating thinking what should be done before a customer or anybody for that matter decides to do any investment in the network. Customers should not do investment in the network and then bring a bill for payment. Both parties are supposed to sit down and agree on whether that investment should be done or not. Because you don't know whether we are also planning to do an investment here. You don't know whether our plan has reached advanced stage or even completion stage for us to go and do an investment there. And then you decide to go and do an investment there. There's nothing wrong with you doing an investment there. But both parties must agree on what the investment should be and then the size of the investment. So that you don't just go and do something and then put an investment there. That is one side of it. The second side of it, which customers should also understand, is that the electricity that we bring to the customers does not belong to the discos. It belongs to the entire power sector, which is made up of the generating companies, the transmission companies, and then the distribution companies. So that product in itself, we collect money for it and pay back to the market, taking out our own portion of that money for our own investment in the network. So customers need to understand that. So it is only when we have agreed on what the size of the investment is that we can then begin to say, okay, look, we are returning this is the portion that will be returned, and this is the way that amount, that investment will be recouped by the customers.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Fadikwe, good morning and compliment of the season again. I'm going to ask you a question now, but before I ask you that question, I want to quote the law according to the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Reform Act 2005, Article 15. It says clearly there, and that is law, it's an act. It says it is not the responsibility of the customer or community to buy transformer, poles, cables, feeder pillar, and other amenities. My question to you now is that powering the facilities bought by consumer, are you not breaking the law? Are you upholding the law? That is one. Then secondly, at what point do you agree with customers before you power them? So if I buy a car now and I want to put it on the road, I will have to agree to be a member of National Union of Road Transport Workers before I can use my car for transport. There has to be a point of agreement, and I will have their stickers displayed, and I will pay their dues every day. Okay, now you're going to power the community, the facilities, transformers, cable, bought by the community. Is that not an agreement, or you are just breaking the law by powering what you are not supposed to power, because you are saying they are supposed to agree with you before buying it? At what point is the agreement supposed to come?
Let us get one fact clear. AEDC is not breaking any law, and we will not break any law of the land. We are a responsible organization, and we owe our existence to the laws of the land. That's one. Two, we also have a regulatory agency that directs and controls those things that are within their apparent and ostensible authority to control. NEC is the regulatory agency in the power sector. NEC will tell us what to do and what not to do. That's two. Number three, within Abuja network, for instance, in Abuja itself, the Federal Capital Territory, there is also the regulatory instrument of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. I know of the fact that one of the things that is prevalent in the Federal Capital Territory, particularly Abuja itself, is the estate structure. And estate owners and providers always agree with their patronizers that they will provide transformers for them in their agreement. All we need to do is to connect those estates to the network. In that case, the estates are treated as point load transformers. So That is not a community. That is a point load, which is what Emeka was trying to call personal transformers. They are treated as point loads. They are seen as individuals, and it's an estate. It's not a community.
Oops. I think we lost. Mr. Emeka, are you there? I think we lost both of them.
Really sad.
Right.
I'm hearing both of them creating subcategories that do not exist in the law.
Yeah.
So what the law says is that the discos provide all we need to have power.
Yeah.
But now they are saying or refund. So now they're saying that some communities can decide to do this by themselves.
You can now ask him. This is their own document issued to me and
so
signed.
I would really like us to have, I wish we had a representative from NERC, because it's their responsibility to regulate the actions of the discos. Yes. Because discos are capitalists, they are business owners, they want to make as much profit as possible. It is the job of our government to now regulate the activities of each disco and ensures that they do not profiteer from us or abuse the power they have, because power is a basic of human life. So we need them.
I agree with you, Dr. but also my own concern, yes, these are important issues to discuss. But the average Nigerian out there also is worried about the new tariffs. I'm paying the new tariffs, I'm not seeing the power. So I would like to hear the challenges they're having also to ensure that power gets, because your own estate, for example, they promised 20 hours.
Yeah.
So you're not getting 20 hours.
No,
what are their issues, what are their challenges? What I would like to hear from our guests.
Yeah,
yes,
this is just a country that, we focus on efforts and not results. So I'm a consumer. I don't care the problems we're having. I'm paying for my product. I should have my services. You should give me my services or I can take it up with you. You are failing in providing services that I have paid for. So I think the consumers themselves need to do more. We need to start speaking out. We need to read our contracts properly before signing. We have a problem of signing things without reading in this country. The time has come for us to open our eyes and know what you're getting into. So that if we have one person, 2 people, 3 people take it up, they will adjust themselves.
Aside from that, also, you're right, BC, but aside from that, the bureaucracy is what Nigerians, that makes Nigeria actually look for sidekicks. So, for example, instead of you to go through the process of waiting for your transformer, waiting to get them to reimburse you, no, you find a way to cut the corners. And we also are equally, we also must accept responsibility on our own part. We play the Nigerian factor of not following due process. We just find a way to cut corners.
Time wasting.
Well, to that, I think the position of law is very clear in everything we do. And either you like it or not, you must ensure that you do whatever you are doing within the ambit of the law. When I was disconnected now, I can as well call a quack tout from outside to come and connect me back, and we'll start going back and forth. But I will never do that. I will never break the law. So I want to speak out or shout out to those Nigerians out there who feel frustrated by bureaucracy. Unfortunately, bureaucracy is part of the pathway we need to follow in order to get things right. Sometimes it goes long, sometimes it goes short. You need to hire lawyers. Okay. You need to get people who are going to write to them. You need to have record, like my host said here. When I downloaded my form to apply to them, it took me almost 1 week to read through. I liked what was my right and what was not my right. And the moment I realized that my right is being violated, I took it up. And from the response of Mr. Oyebode Fadepe so far, he has not addressed the issue of the law, the regulations, and the agreement you signed by the people. You are a private organization saddled with the responsibility of getting certain things done, and you have this document that you signed with us. Your action in particular incident, is it in line with what you signed with the people? All
right, let's take a few tweets on this. Let's engage our customers.
Jide says, please help us to ask your guests to clarify why would discos buy power from Transco in megawatts, kilowatts, and sell to consumers in hours instead of watts or voltage? Why can't the non-premium customer have electricity, 24 hours electricity, even if it means 110 voltage as against a 210 voltage? Bolt Baba says, these guys that distribute all are deliberately frustrating a quarter to make power available for their own monetary gain.
Andrew says everything has to be tough in Nigeria. To get supply of electricity is like putting a camel through a needle. Gumala says NEC isn't doing anything about operations of distributors of electricity. All what Mr. Emeka said are just on paper, not actual reality. I've decided to produce my own electricity when I return to Nigeria.
Well, we have to wrap up. But what are your final words on this? Because, as I said, we really wanted to bring in. We had actually booked to have the general manager from Abuja, Ikeja Disco, Eko Disco, and Enugu. Unfortunately, we are having some technical issues, but hopefully we'll still try to bring them very soon to discuss now consumer issues. Now, there are issues of the transformer, issues of what the law. That is the one angle of the conversation. But there's another angle of the conversation where the consumer is saying, I am paying. I can't see light. I've gone to complain, and yet I still don't have electricity. Or some are saying that they don't even have meters. The major issue of meters will be distributed. So those are core issues that consumers are going through that we still need to continue the conversation. You want to take a few more tweets before we wrap up?
Okay, Ms. Chi says, the solution to all our challenges, including power as a nation, is serious law enforcement. We should have the courts that give judgment within 48 hours like Judge Judy. And if people are sanctioned, others will sit up. Can we punish misdemeanor for once? AEDC actually responded to somebody today on today's show who tweeted at them one of their irregularities. OJ says, I paid for 3 meters even when the government announced that meters were free. Weeks after, I'm yet to get the meters. The installers I spoke to this morning said, Mojek, the meter contractor for AEDC, hasn't paid the staff for December, though the meters are ready, but installers have down tolls. 2 weeks.
Oludotu says TMO speaks with a case about tariff band, which discos were supposed to charge users on. In my community, Ikeja Electric, Fagba, undertaking charges us service band B for 49 kilowatts, minimum of 16 hours per day, but they will not give us more than 6 hours. So that's one of the questions that we didn't get answered. So I'm looking forward to them tweeting their replies to us on why we will be paying for 16 hours and people are getting 6 hours.
Reverend wants us to ask Mr. Emeka why they have not provided power to the community, Alpha community, or provided prepaid meter to them, and they've been out of power for 2 years now.
Well, we're going to try to get, because I know of those companies, Mojek, I think MOMAS and NEMSA. These are the companies that have the license to bring in meters for Nigerians. So we need to engage them also. We need to invite them to the show and say what's going on, what are their own challenges.
They've already given them the license.
Why are they collecting money from people when federal government declared the meter free?
No,
but it's business for them now.
There's a cost.
Has the government paid them?
No. You see, if the government say it's free, people should apply and get it free. So I'm giving you. I'm giving you an example. In my house now,
we run out of time. We have to run.
And they charged me for one and gave me 3 free. What was the policy and the rationale behind that?
Okay, so that's the conversation we'll have with the meter distribution companies and the meter assembly. Actually, they have the license to assemble in Nigeria and to distribute. We'll try to engage them very soon to see how far they've gone with their own work. That's all we can take on the show. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye, girl.